This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined by Mick Conlan here in Surrey on a nice Tuesday afternoon. Didn't expect to see you today, but it's always a pleasure. How's things?
Oh, good, mate. Just overseeing the boys, doing a bit of training while I was here and enjoying life at the minute.
I was going to say, obviously, people have a lot of questions for yourself on what's next and what's happening. Obviously, you've been clear that you are going to fight again. But as you say, you've been enjoying yourself. It's been a nice thing for yourself to do. Yeah,
but the longest I've ever been in a ring, and was the longest I was out of a gym until May. So yeah, it's been nice. It's been a nice break. Just enjoying life, living normal for the first time in many years.
Is that quite a nice thing to do? Because I'm sure when you're in camp, and especially I think in 23, 2 fights in 23, I think it was 3 fights in 22. You've been back to back and constantly going, and it's always the next focus for yourself has always been the next fight, and this one's been a little bit different. Do you feel like you've enjoyed that in a way? Like you've sort of the focus has changed a bit.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to have a different outlook and not like worrying and looking towards the next fight, worrying about weight or anything like that. And I actually think it's benefited me because I'm sitting later than I've probably ever sit out of camp, and it's been nice. I'm enjoying it.
I guess we'll move on now on what is potentially next for yourself. You've been open about sort of switching trainers. From what I know, from what I speak in, there's obviously news on that. I guess if I gave you the floor, what is next when it comes to a new trainer?
Yeah, I was looking at a few coaches, particularly Steve Smith and Grant Smith and Buddy McGurd, and I narrowed it down to Stephen or Grant, and I've decided I'm going to go Grant, and I appreciate the time I've had with all the guys I work with. It's been great, but I believe Grant's the next step for me is the right one to help my career, and the right coach for me at the right time.
What do you think it is about Grant that stood out from sort of Buddy, Stephen and other guys that you work with?
I just like how he operates. I like how he is as a coach, and I like how the other guys operate as well. So it was a very, very hard decision, if I'm going to be honest, and it took time before I made any decisions. I went over and seen him, I think, first in July, then again in August, and then I've only came to my decision like in the last week, and I've reached out to both Stephen and Grant and let them know what way it was going, and both were kind of saying with it, so I was happy enough.
And when you go to a gym like you do the Still City, where they've got top talent like Chantel Cameron, Dalton Smith, Janae Boston, I can name off so many names. You've been in other gyms as well, like here at the Booth Gym, where you've had guys like Josh Kelly, Harlem, etc., top talent. Do you feel like from someone like yourself, when you've been in and around top quality talent, you benefit from that?
Yeah, I think that was probably part of the reason I kind of decided to go to Grant, because of you want to pause it and I'll stop this one. That was part of the reason that I actually chose Grant, was because of the quality fighters he had around. Stephen only has a few fighters, and Charlie Edwards being the main one. And I do like the last coach with Pedro, in my opinion, probably one of the best coaches I've ever worked with. And I'm very grateful to be been under him for a while. And I was basically training by myself a lot of the time, and it was alright when you were doing it, but in hindsight, probably wasn't what I needed, because you don't know how hard you're pushing. I like to engage myself off other people, and that's why I kind of have chose Grant, is because he has so much high quality fighters there who you can bounce off, who you can push yourself against in the gym and try to excel. So yeah, that was part of the reason I like to train around the quality fighters and be around the quality fighters and see how they're operating and what way they're doing things, and if I can push yourself further than what they're doing. So yeah, that's the reason, yeah.
And you've been all around the world, I guess, with different trainers, and whether it even been on the Ireland team as well, where you would have sort of had top trainers there. Do you feel like because you have a lot of guys who will stick with sort of 1 or 2 trainers for their whole career, do you feel like you have also had that benefit of having a taste for all different kinds of work?
You know what? Like, I don't like bouncing about trainers, but you only get one shot at this game, and to be honest, I'm in last chance saloon here for myself. In my own head, whatever happens, if I was to lose next, that would be it done. So I think you just need to make decisions for yourself and be selfish in a sense. And that's what I've had to do. You know, I enjoy being around other coaches and seeing different things, and you know, maybe some were right, maybe some were wrong, but you know, you make your decisions and you live with them.
I was going to say that now. When you look back now and looking forward, you're obviously coming off the Jordan Gill fight, and you said there about it being last chance saloon. So, is there a lot of importance that really there is no room for error? Like everything, even in camp, it has to be right. As you probably say for previous camps, that hasn't been the same. So now everything has to be nailed on to a point.
100%, and you know, that's probably the main reason why I might not fight this year. Because I need to make sure everything's right. I need to spend time, quality time with a coach before we decide to go into a training camp and, you know, start fighting. You know, I'll be where we're grand the second week in September, and the latest I'll probably fight will be Paddy's Day next year. So, you know, I'll have plenty of time working together and gelling and getting to know each other and learn his methods and show him my own kind of style and let him get used to that. And yeah, just give myself time because it's what's needed. You can't rush into things, and maybe the last one was very rushed. And in hindsight, you would go back and change things, but you can't. So you live with it.
When it comes to names and competing, is it? I know the last fight was at super feather, but ideally, is it going to compete at featherweight for the continuous future?
Yeah, back to featherweight 100%. You know, the last one, as I said, 6 weeks training. I said in many previous interviews, 6 weeks actual training. It was easier for me to make super featherweight, but I'm coming in later now than what I came in for featherweight fights, and you know, I feel good, I feel fit. I'm in great shape now already, and you know, I'm looking forward to being back down to featherweight.
Do you think it's an exciting time? Because the landscape of that division is always changing. Obviously, we saw a previous opponent of yours, Luis Alberto Lopez, losing to Anjo Leo. Obviously, with Lopez, we don't know what's going on with him because obviously in that fight suffered a bleed on the brain. Nick Ball's a champion there, which is obviously that's I guess you could call it a domestic fight. So yeah, when you look at the featherweights there, it is an exciting time to be there.
Definitely, and you know, if I'm going to be straight with you here, I'm not sitting looking here and going, this is who I want to fight, that's who I want to fight. I want to come back in, you know, have one to get back in with a new coach. Then we move forward. Maybe another kind of middle level one, and then we go straight back to the top. And that's the plan. You know, I've given my life to the game, and I'll keep going now until it's done, until the next loss, and then I would be done. But I'm not putting loads of emphasis on it. I'm just enjoying it and, you know, trying to get back to the best me, which I believe will be world champion.
And for yourself, obviously, just recently we did have a fight at the SSC, but is there always part of you when you do see a big fight in Belfast at the summer, which you've been notorious for, like part of you chips away in that when you see sort of them nights that you created there, that is part of the motivation going forward as well?
No, not really, I'll be honest. You know, I'm not in this because I have an urge after watching boxing or anything. I'm in this for myself and to reach my own goals. Seeing other fights and stuff, it doesn't do anything for me really. Unless they're like huge fight nights, you go, oh, I'd like to be a part of that. But I'm just here to try and, you know, reach my potential, which I believe will be world champion. But other than that, I have no outside influences going, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, or I want to be this, I want to be in that position. I don't. I just want to go and reach my potential. And
let's say when it's all said and done, do you feel like part of yourself there, with the belts or without the belts, that doesn't define you? If you did reach a goal and you did be a world champion, and say if you didn't, like that isn't the definition of your career, would you say?
No, listen, my career's long storied, isn't it really? And who knows, there could be a movie at the end of it. But it's been a very great career, an up and down career, a career I've earned an awful lot of money, and me coming back now isn't about money. It's about trying to reach the goal. But listen, I've had a very successful career, you know, probably one of Ireland's most successful amateurs ever. The needs I've created as a professional and the things I've achieved as a professional, you know, there's not many that do it either. So, you know, lo and behold, I'm not world champion, but, you know, hopefully I can get there. If I can't, so be it.
Definitely. Actually, a final one from myself, a topic I did want to speak to you about was obviously you mentioned there sort of about all the things you've done for Ireland, and we just recently had the Olympics, and you're obviously on our channel before talking about everything that happened in 24 and the 24 Olympics, and almost like I guess you could say like the corruption involved in it. There's been clear disputes between the IOC and the IBA. You've been obviously clear to see about your concerns that you had with IEBA, which is obviously now the IBA. When you look at a potential of the 28 Summer Olympics in LA not having boxing there, do you think that if the problems continue with the IBA and the IOC, that's a correct decision?
For boxers, no, and for the sport of boxing, no. It's not a good thing to have no boxing in the Olympics. You know, it's been one of the first sports ever in the Olympics, and probably one of the most watched sports in the Olympics. I'm going to be honest, watching Paris, it felt like I was back in Rio with the decisions you were seeing. You're going, what the hell's going on here? And I felt like that was like a nail in the coffin for, 2026. Is it 26? 28, sorry, 28 for 28. The show, like, no, we don't need this in because there is too much badness going on, and who knows, was it meant to be like that, or have they played it out that way purposely? I don't know. There could be a conspiracy around that, who knows, but I thought Paris was terrible for decisions. Some Irish fighters on the end of very bad decisions, and as I said, just reminding me of Rio and the badness that happened there.
Definitely. Well, as always, Mick, it's always a pleasure to see you. Even better to be speaking to you. So I do appreciate you taking time to speak to me. And I'm sure you've got a fun few weeks coming up. So have a good time, mate. Appreciate it. Top man. Thank you, mate. Cheers.